The choices that you make in the early rounds kind of set the tone for the rest of your roster. But what should your strategy be for those two picks? Let's say, Marcus, that you've got a pick early in the first, and then you've got the long wait until the end of round two. What do you want out of those first two picks?
My strategy has been pretty much regardless of where I am in the draft order has been to come out of it with an elite running back and an elite tight end. So if you're picking early on, say you're one of the first three picks, that's when you go get your elite running back, whether it's a Christian McCaffrey, a Dalvin Cook, maybe a Derrick Henry, somebody like that. Then after you have that long wait, as you mentioned, to come back around to you in the second round, generally a guy like Darren Waller or George Kittle will still be there. So in that respect, you have fulfilled your need to get a top tier running back, and you can still get yourself one of those top tier tight ends and feel good about it.
Okay. All right, Kimmy, so let's say you're smack dab in the middle. What are you looking to do right there with kind of like the exact middle situation between the extreme early and the extreme late?
Okay, well, we talked about this on Monday's show, and then what you just said, Marcus, kind of backs up my claim. So this year at the running back position, beyond those top three, top four running backs, then the waters get a little bit murky for me. So if I'm looking in the middle of the first round, I'd rather go out and draft a stud wide receiver or a stud tight end like a Travis Kelce. I'd rather get a guy that I know is going to continually put up the numbers and have at least, that floor every single week that's going to continue to get me points after points after points. Then when I look to the middle of the second round, most likely there are going to be some running backs still on the table. Maybe a guy like an Austin Eckler, a Najee Harris, an Antonio Gibson. So for me this year, I'm going to try to get a stud wide receiver in the middle of the first and then go for a stud running back in the middle of the second.
All right, so I'm noticing a trend, and we're all going to, since we're all in the same draft, we're going to have some issues because I would like to prioritize that tight end position. But if I'm hovering around the turn, I'm thinking that in terms of watching the league winner point scorers, you've watched them go pick after pick after pick, and that doesn't mean that you can't win. It just means you have to win differently, and you do that with value. And I say you get the highest non-quarterback score that you can, whoever that is. If you're lucky enough to have it be Davante Adams, if it's Travis Kelce, you go get that guy. And then, as Marcus said, and as Kimmy said, Darren Waller, George Kittle, if Kelce wasn't there, I'm assuming he's gone by the time you make it to the turn, you go ahead and get that guy. You don't have to spend that mental energy on that position all season long, while also getting one of the top tight ends that can score with anybody. So again, I'm not in a good situation drafting with all of these sharks who are much smarter and better at fantasy football.